I would like to read a very small Reddit thread that showed up on our subreddit the other day, about 13 days ago. Forgot to talk about it last week.
Are you sure? Are you sure
Am I
you
sure?
want? Are you sure you want to read a Reddit thread?
Oh, I'm extraordinarily sure because I want you to weigh in on this. There was a thread made by one Violet Myers who says, I made up a fake son to get out of work early. And now every time someone asks me about him, I just tell him a story Pat told on the podcast. Now what do I do? And he goes on in the thread that the next day people were asking him lots of questions about his child.
What you do is you cue the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm music. Because Jesus Christ, did you pick the worst possible out for the oh my god. Okay, I never mind that like story in a way. It's almost like, what else in your life did you choose as a solution to problems that were so minor that you decided to go nuclear on the outcome without thinking 2 minutes into the future?
Hold that thought. Someone in the comments responds, slowly switch from Pat's story about his son to Pat's stories about Zangief and Caboose. Adopt a dog and then reveal that you were talking about the dog the whole time, right? Because you said, oh, my son, right?
My son, my internet son.
OP replies, okay, so here's the thing. I'm a compulsive liar, and I've already started to tell stories about my made-up dog with 2 broken legs.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
They go on,
yeah,
and basically people are like, "You're gonna have to get a new job because this is gonna blow up in your face." And they say, "I think that's my only choice, but the economy sucks. I don't know if I can get a new job like this one." And that's the last thing they ever posted on Reddit.
Okay.
I go to their account. That's the last thing that I've ever seen.
No. So well, what we have, like, I'll stop all advice because. Like, once you say, yeah, the problem is actually I'm a compulsive liar, it's like, oh, life is going to be difficult. Like, everything, whatever solutions you can find, need to be things that you can apply to every other facet of your life socially as things continue to blow up around you, because when people discover you're lying, they're going to go, well, that's super weird, and everything that cascades from it will happen continuously. Oh, so, like, no.
Okay, so listen. Everybody has 4 grandparents that can pass away when you need a day off, right? That everybody, you just cycle through and you keep track, right?
If you keep track.
Inventing a fake child, you know what? I can respect that. You grab a stock photo off the internet that kind of looks like you.
Sure.
And you just have to make sure that you never, ever intend to ever hang out with these people outside of work ever again.
I mean, also you can go through the holiday Rolodex and be like, yeah, sorry, it's Sukkot coming up, and my mom was half Jewish, so I got to go that way. Or you got something else. You select as you need to,
absolutely.
Right?
And you can be like, oh, the wife, I'm sorry, my ex-wife, custody, I never get to see them, blah blah blah, blah blah. You do all sorts of shit, right? When you have invented a fake dog with a wildly specific disability that people are going to... Somebody pointed out in the thread, the fake dog is going to fuck you up really bad because every dog owner carries around 100 photos of their dog, especially their disabled dog. That's where you're flying way too close to the sun, because people are going to want to see photos and videos of your fucking dog with broken legs, dude.
Oh, is that flying too close to the sun, and not the part where anyone who might happen to listen to this podcast would immediately expose?
Nobody listens to this podcast.
Nobody listens. Trick question. Listen, like, actually though, especially because you're just grabbing everything from one source and pretending it's your life. you need to just tell everyone, hey, sorry, I'm a compulsive liar. It's weird. I apologize. It's a
No, you
thing.
can't do that.
You gotta
Are you
just go.
insane?
If
Are
it's
you
not if it's
insane?
not gonna cost you your job, if it's
No.
you gotta just come clean. You gotta
No,
come
Wooly.
clean.
Wooly, you're crazy.
No.
You're
This
insane.
this will go down. The hole will dig forever and ever and ever. Right?
And now it is your burden to dig it. It's too late. It's too late.
What are the stakes? Is it just that people will think you're weird, or will it actually cost you the job?
He would there. So I've given you all the information present in that thread. But if you are Wooly, if you work somewhere and someone comes to you and goes like, by the way, I've been faking a fake family, a fake dog, and you know what? Fuck it. I've been faking my cancer diagnosis too. Let's just throw that one on
hold
there.
on. Am I lying about being a compulsive liar, or is that real? Because if that's real,
you've gone too far. Because even if you don't get fired, like they'll make you leave. The only thing you can do is lie more.
It depends on the job, I guess, right? Some places it's like, okay, whatever. There's a bunch of people here. You might get socially weird, but it's not going to be a huge impact. Or if you're in a small office where everything's a super tight family and such, then that might have a larger impact. So yeah, I don't know if the situation calls for it, but I feel like this is a corner, and this is delaying problems that you're going to have to face them. And there are a lot of people I know whose only means of dealing with anxieties and stresses are to kick the can down the road and
I've known a couple of those.
Indefinitely kick the cans, and it's just like, you can't do that. Or you can, but then you can't be surprised when it explodes. You can't be.
So yeah, no, every person I've ever known that kicks the can down the road every time is always like fucking astonished when it blows up in their face, and you're always just like, this was obviously.
Oh my goodness! Like wow! It's the consequences of my own actions. Now
that being said, Wooly, no one ever got out of compulsive lying by telling the truth. It's too late. Once you've already compulsively lied enough, there's no saving you. So what I suggest, person who is probably listening to this podcast, because they're stealing bits and pieces of my life for their own benefit, I have a piece of advice for you. There's only one way to come back off this compulsive lying, because you're going to get caught, and that is to lie more. Specifically, be honest that you're a compulsive liar, but say that you're a compulsive liar to cover up your fake substance abuse problem, which you will then get over, thus resetting you to zero.
Is it good
You're
advice?
a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, but you're getting help. And you're going down the steps and you're trying to do better, and you're sorry about that. You were just making those stories up because you were actually strung out and you're embarrassed.
Is it good advice? No. Is it funnier? Yes. Damn. Tough choice here. You're telling me that's not going to cost him his job? You're telling me that the fucking truth is the problem, but saying that I'm a strung out drug addict as the real truth is not. You're saying an actual substance abuse problem is not going to cost him his job while the truth might? What the fuck are we talking about?
Well, so no, you're blowing it up, because what I'm trying to engineer here is I'm trying to engineer the issue in which this guy lies about being a drug addict to get out of the trouble for being a liar, and then aces a drug test in which they're like, aren't you supposed to be a drug addict? And he goes, yeah, I just do shit.
Assuming they give him if you're gonna get fired for being a liar, just weirding the vibe, there's not gonna be a test over you being an addict or something like that. That's even more severe on how they'll treat you. Any place that's cool with you being an addict will probably not fire you for being a liar.
You know what, Wooly, you're right. I will addend my solution to this person. This is who is this? Violet Myers. There is a solution in order to sell the fact that you are an addict and that's why you're a compulsive liar, you should consider becoming addicted to alcohol temporarily so that you can beat it.
Okay, and then you have a victory story.
And then you'll have your coin. You'll have your sobriety coin that you can get from Alcoholics Anonymous. And then you can be like, "Hey, I'm better now."
Pat, this soul, the outcome of this soul is actually on you. Because you now have to tell stories about your life, knowing that they will be X-copied into the water cooler office discussion tomorrow.
So
and you have to choose the correct stories for this person.
Oh, man.
You can correct the narrative, but it's all on you now. They don't have a choice in the matter. They're just going to spout whatever you say.
Hey,
tell your stories responsibly.
I gotta respond to a comment that I just saw, which is like, "Oh man, Pat's kid is so fucked for advice." No, listen. This is not the advice I would give my child. This is the advice I gives guy who steals my life story and dog story so that he can skip work, bro. I have no loyalty here to have good advice.
The thing, but it's not like if it was just to skip work. Like, we're talking about you're lying about why you're calling out, and that's an issue that your boss is going to get on your ass about or whatever if they find that there's a consequence to your lie, right? You have lied for a purpose. But if you've already sowed the seeds of lying about your dog for no reason, but simply to do so.
So actually that becomes like that. I remember talking to Paige about this. I'm like, talking about the disabled dog part. That's the part that will, because if people are like, listen, Wooly, you're working at the office, like you're working back in QA, and some guy invents a fake kid to get out of work, right?
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
I worked with a few fucking egregious.
Right, but like, let's say I have a fake son that I use to get out of work things. Like I don't know about you, but I'd be like, it's pretty funny. Like, you got him. I wouldn't feel any ill will or animosity. But like, well, everybody's got their hustle, right? But the fake dog is specifically to engender like an emotional response from coworkers.
100%.
So now you're manipulating me. That will cause hatred. Anybody who finds out that you don't have a dog with broken legs is going to hate you. Because you manipulated them
for nothing,
for kudos,
for absolutely nothing, 100%. And I mean, look, there's the variants on this that I'm already familiar with. I know there's the guy who it's not lying about having a kid and going that far with it for whatever those excuses are. It's more like you're a deadbeat that's not in their life, but they do exist, and you can prove it via photo if need be.
I've met a bunch of those people.
So you just milk that aspect of it instead, right?
Oh yeah, life custody is so rough, and then you run into them, and you're like, I try to get him to spend time with the kids all the time, and he doesn't give a shit.
You haven't seen them in a year. What are you talking about? Like I
miss them so much.
That's a real person, 100. But like, if you're already not lying for gain, but just to get
to do it.
Oh, you're in deep. Oh man. No, and if you have the awareness to already know you're a compulsive liar and like identify that part, like kudos, that's a first step of recognition. But man, there's a lot of pillars around besides this job that must also be on fire and collapsing, and you need some solutions for getting ready for that in your life.
I gotta say, it's actually kind of sad because like you and I knew a guy who had it the worst I've ever seen in my life. And I like, but like it's like sad because it's like every single thing, every detail, every event, every story, every all of it. It's like, don't you lose your sense of self after a certain little while?
Well, it's just more like I always talk about how much I love Shutter Island, the movie, because it's a really good movie. But I'm like, isn't there a point where like you crash into reality and like something has to break. Like, what happens when you say something and as you're saying it right in front of you, it's like reality is the opposite and everyone's watching it happen. You know? Like, what then? You know, I need to know, because how do you function? How did you get this far? It's crazy. And it turns out in a lot of cases, everyone just kind of politely goes, yeah, okay, and just kind of dips that way. You know? Anyway, that's a rough one. There's no easy answers there. You know?
I wish there was an L in there. Violet Myers, please post an update. I am so riveted. Now, of course, there's the possibility that this thread is in of itself a compulsive lie.
Of course.
But it's a good one.
Sure.
If it is.
Well, the good news is I have the update.
Yeah.
What else happened with your week?
Oh, right.